Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to go through the season challenges for the Battle Pass and how I'm going to push forward with them and try my best to get them done. There's some kind of annoying ones here. Once again, help with repair, rears its ugly head, and also some odd naval ones, but overall shouldn't be too bad. I think these are easier than the last seasons. There was a few last season which you really had to have very specific vehicles to sort out, when it comes to this one, not so much at the end of the day. I feel like these challenges can be done by a much wider array of vehicles, which is nice. Anyway, let's get into them. The first one is Reconnaissance by Fire, and all you have to do is destroy 150 vehicles, so just be rank 3 or higher, and be able just to destroy enemies. And the general thing about this one is you can play whatever, so this will be done alongside you doing your dailies and your specials for the Battle Pass, and since you have 3 weeks to do it, if you just follow your dailies, you should be able to get this done without any issues. So not one to focus on, this one will just be done over time. Deliberate Assault, which is the next one, is also a passive grinding one. Play a number of battles while destroying at least one other player's vehicle, which is 75 missions. You can actually do these two together if you want to. Usually it's not great to do Battle Pass challenges together, but these two fit pretty well. 75 missions can be quite a lot over 3 weeks, and it seems like they are ramping up the amount you have to do when it comes to these things, so just make sure that you kind of keep a tally on that. Usually this type of mission would be more like 60 or 50 missions on previous battle passes, so just make sure that you hit that slightly higher level. Steel Avalanche is one of the first weird ones. Destroy the specified number of player vehicles using each type of ground vehicle, so tank, tank destroyer, and SPAA. And you have to destroy 7 vehicles each. So in tanks, destroy 7 enemies. In tank destroyers, 7 enemies. In SPAA, 7 enemies. So the easiest way to do this is obviously to play vehicles that you are used to. Also, if you're doing dailies and specials, you'll probably get this done anyway, since some of the easiest dailies and specials are SPG tasks and also SPAA tasks. So this shouldn't be too hard. Obviously, mid-tiers has the best amount or best variety when it comes to the game. There's a lot of tank destroyers in there, a lot of German tank destroyers, for example. If I'm going on my specific lineups to do this stuff with, for tank, I use 6-7 America with my light tanks and my heavy tanks. For tank destroyers, I would do, I think, 4-0 or 4-3 Italy, because it has the Stug, the Zarigny, and also the Semavente 90, which I actually really enjoy using. You can throw in the Breda as well, which is pretty fun. And then the SPAAs, there's a few lineups which you can actually bring full-on SPAAs nowadays. For the USSR, you could go 6-3 with the M53, and also the other one, the BTR-ZD. For Britain, you can actually do the Istervark and the Bosvark, which is actually a pretty fun lineup to shoot down planes. Or you can do stuff like 8-3 China with the WZ-305 and also the PG-09. So there's a ton of options for this one, and the main thing is just to kind of make sure that you have some of these unlocked to give them a go at. You can also use it as a general spading one, so just play vehicles that you need to spade and you'll get it done as well. 7 kills for each over 3 weeks is not too bad. The next one is Air Support, and it's destroy a specified number of ground or surface vehicles in air battles. So we'll focus on Air AB or RB here. There are some vehicles which you should definitely get when it comes to grinding out the game, which are very good for destroying AI targets in these modes. For bombers, the SB2C5, which is available for America and also available for France, it's rank 3, battle rating 3.7, gets access to external 50 cals and 20mm, meaning that you can just rack up the kills with a bomber. You also get a very high air spawn, so you can actually use it as an air-to-air fighter, and it's very good at that too. The AM1, the AD2, the AD4 for either America or France, and then also the IL-10 for China or USSR. All of these vehicles are fantastic at ground pounding, whether it be in Air AB or Air RB, and you can easily get this event done in maybe 4 or 5 battles if you get the right maps. So this is actually pretty much just a standard daily that you can get, and also a special mass destruction, which is one of the easier ones to do, so definitely worth doing this one. Won't take long, especially 3 weeks. The next one's going to be one of those really annoying ones for people, and it's Repair Team, and receive a specified number of streaks, 20 awards, help with repair or firefighter. So you get these by helping, well, people repair or extinguishing flames for them, and generally it's easier to get these nowadays, but still they don't frequent as much as this. 20 awards for each is going to be quite a tall task. So for me, I would say the best way to do this is to squad up with people. I know it's not always the way that people do it, but through Discords, through social media, it's usually good to have a decent amount of people around you so you could squad up and do these types of challenges. KV1 Zis 5, for example, in rank 3 is definitely one to go for. Stuff such as the T-34 for America as well. What you want is big heavy bruisers which can tank a hit, even the M103 or the Mouse, stuff like that. So heavy tanks which can take a punch. IS-3 is also a very good one right now because of its BR. But yeah, you just want to play vehicles that will get hurt, whether it's their tracks getting blown off or their guns getting blown off, which will be able to be repaired. Last time a challenge around this came around, we had a squad of 3 and we ran around in KV1 Zis 5s. Didn't take too long to do, but obviously was a bit of a pain. Combined arms exercises is the next one, and you have to destroy the specified number of player vehicles using each type of vehicle. So you got torpedo boat, light tank, and bomber. So 5 vehicles each on this one. So basically, in torpedo boats, you need 5 kills. In light tanks, you need 5 kills, so on and so forth. The easiest way to do the torpedo boats one is obviously rank 3 coastal. The ones I would go for is the dark class for the UK, or I would go for the rank 3 PT boats for America, stuff like the PT-565, things like the Thunderbolt, because those have a lot of weaponry on them, and the 40mm will tear apart pretty much anything that you face. The German coastal stuff, or the general torpedo boats, aren't very good. They definitely fall apart. The USSR ones are alright, they just don't have that many of them at rank 3 and up. So yeah, go for the rank 3 batter rating 3.0 American PT boats. That'll be the easiest thing to do. Light tanks, I mean, there's millions of them nowadays, and a lot of them are really overpowered. So you can pretty much pick any of them. Lower tier ones, you've got the rank 3 Chaffee for the Japanese. That one turns up. You've got the 6.7 ones for America. The T-92, which is actually very nice. The Bulldog for Germany, which doesn't do too badly with its heat. Those definitely come to mind. If you want a few higher tier ones, these Swedish ones are super fun, like the STRF 9040 and stuff like that, so you can definitely go for that. And bombers, I mean, you can either gunship it, or it's probably easier to do this in ground realistic or naval realistic, or naval arcade even. P8 comes to mind. In naval or Lancaster as well, if you just want to have a bit of fun and donk a destroyer. Stuff like the B7A2 even is a bomber which you could use this on, or the SB2C5 if you want to do, once again, that air-to-air stuff we talked about. If you want it done the easiest way though, you want the largest bomb with the most maneuverable vehicle, and as I said, stuff like the B7A2 is the way to get access to that. The next challenge is Coastal Terror, and this one is going to be one of the harder ones, especially if people don't prepare vehicles for this. So just like in the last Battle Pass, where there was a task where you had to get sub-chasers and do X amount of damage in them, or play X amount of games, this is that one again. So, but in obviously different rules. So deal the specified amount of damage each using Coastal Fleet main weapons of various calibers. so less than 21mm, from 21 to 50mm, and also greater than 51mm. So this is a tough challenge, just because you need to have rank 3 vehicles which also do this, and at rank 3 there aren't many vehicles which have less than 21mm which actually do a lot of damage. The American rank 3s, the 3.0s that we talk about, there is actually some decent amount of 20mm or 12.7s on them, such as the PT-59. That one can do this. They also have 40mm on it, so you can get that 21 to 50mm one, and then greater than 51mm. You do technically have a mortar, so that could do some damage. But if you want to do something like that, I would probably go for the SF-40 Heavy. And this is just a general thing. If you have a look at the rank 3 Germany, they have the S-100 1944. If you take control of the 20mm, that can act as your less than 21mm. If you take control of the 30, that can be from 21 to 50. Then, if you want to do greater than 51, the SF-40 Heavy with its 88mm does great work. The other one you can actually run is the SF-40 Light along with the Heavy, so therefore you have all of the 4 quad 20mm, that can be your less, and then you just have to get the 21 to 50. For the USSR, you actually have quite a lot of options, because you have the 123K, which has the 14.5mm. This one is very good for the less than 21mm. Then you have the 1124 late and the 191 that you can run with it. All of these have the big donkey guns like the 85mm or the 76s, which can do pretty good damage to coastal forces as well. The British also have stuff like the Dark Aggressor, but it's nowhere near as good as the other ones that we've mentioned, and Japan also suffers in this area, with really only the sub-chasers, which can do, different things, and no lower than 20. So focus on getting that German rank 3 lineup, the 2.7s. You'll be able to do this whole challenge with those 3 vehicles. USA 3.0 is also one to have a look at, and also USSR 2.7 or 2.3, depending on what you like. The next one is combat coordination, and this is just the standard one they do where it's received a specified number of mission points where vehicles of the current season of the Battle Pass were used. So you don't actually have to, use them fully in a vehicle in a match. You just have to spawn them in, or click to spawn them in. So 20,000 mission points at this point of the Battle Pass. You should be at the mid levels. So if you've done the free Battle Pass, you should have got the free vehicle, which you can then get access to, of course, all of the points if you want to. The B7A2 will be a nice addition to most lineups, so should be easy to do in aerialistic or ground realistic, or even naval, if you want to bring it in there and do the other challenge along with it. Masterful Ambush is destroy 3 players without losing your own vehicle while driving a light tank a specified number of times. So you got to do it 15 times. So basically a 3 kill streak with a light tank as you go forward. Now there are a ton of very powerful light tanks in the game, and this shouldn't be too hard. Stuff like the Puma, for example, for the Germans could do this pretty easily. Baguette Panzer as well could do this pretty easily. For the Americans, once again, the T-92 is one of my favorites to do this with. The USSR has a ton of options as well at the high tiers. 906, the Object 906, BMP-2M, of course, both very powerful. And then even stuff like the 2S-25 or the Object 685 if you've ground that out. BMP-1 technically, but with the missile not being as good as it was, probably won't work too well. For Britain, you got limited options, but there are a few that you can kind of bring out. The Warrior and the VFM-5. Once you get the VFM-5 spaded with the DM-33, it is actually pretty powerful, so that can work well, but it's pretty high BR. For Japan, you got the Chaffee, which is probably the easiest one to do it with, 3.7 of course, to pull that through. And then China as well, you have the M18, which is a light tank, along with the Americans, which have the M18, which can also do this job pretty well. Plus, you have all of the weird light tanks at the mid tiers, and also You have some other ones which can be pretty good at high tiers, like the PTLO2 or the WMA, the WMA301, if you've pulled it out. Italy has the M18 as well, and also some of the higher light tanks, which can be good. France doesn't really have a ton, which I would say are perfect for this role, but stuff like the Char 25T is probably the best for this, just because of its mobility. Sweden has a lot of high-tier stuff, but also the IKV-91 can be very good for this setup as well, and Israel doesn't have light tanks, so you're out of luck. Then we have Between Heaven and Earth, and it's destroy a specified number of player vehicles of another type of military branches. This is horrifically written, but basically it means you have to destroy 15 vehicles so you have to destroy 15 aircraft with naval and ground vehicles, or you have to destroy and you have to destroy 15 ground and sea vehicles with aircraft. So that's basically how it is. So for the aircraft one, destroying ground vehicles and naval vehicles, I mean, there's plenty of good options here. Stuff like the Hellcat, for example, in naval, that 3.0 US lineup once again is very fun. The PE8 we talked about, if you want to go the naval route. It's probably easier to do the ground route though, the ground realistic one, since there's just so much cast at the mid tiers. You know, P51s, for example, with the 1,000-pounders, P47s, Hellcats once again, even stuff like the LA5 or the LA7 can be pretty good with the I-185 as well. There's plenty of good stuff there. B7, you know, you'll probably have it by this point of the battle pass. That one with its 800 kilo, which will be good. The P1Y one as well, with its 2,500s, or even just the Lancaster with the Cookie or the Typhoons with their bombs as well. So tons of options at mid tiers for pretty much every nation on that. For the actually destroying air stuff, I would actually say go and do SPAAs for this. Ground AB is probably the easiest place to do it, and you can rack up kills in ground AB with SPAAs. Sometimes I just do challenges there, stuff like the WZ305 we've talked about, or even things like the Ostwind or the Wirbelwind. You know, things like the Kugelblitz, the Veek, or even the Sergeant York, stuff with proximity can work fantastically well for arcade. So definitely worth having a look at there to destroy things and do pretty well with them. So yeah, I would probably just go into arcade and do it if you wanted to do it quickly. If not, you'll probably get it done over time anyway, just if you're playing full lineups and even playing a lot of naval. You know, a lot of planes will just try and suicide your destroyers and end up dying. The next one is point bombing, and it's destroy a specified number of player vehicles using an aerial bomb with a weight less than 120 kilos, and this is 5 vehicles. So this can be super annoying as a challenge, unless you have very specific vehicles. So you just got to make sure that you have those specific vehicles. Now, it's an ammunition weight, so not an explosive weight. So overall, your bomb needs to be less than 120 kilos. There are bombs in the game which are 100 kilos, which will probably be the easiest to use, but there's also a lot of planes which have 60 kilo bombs or 50 kilo bombs. For example, something like the LA5F, has 50 kilo Fab 50s, which can work really well for this. Japan also, once again, the B7A2, which is the thing they're trying to promote, it can actually carry 10 60 kilo bombs, which will work fantastically well for this. You know, remember the conversion between kgs and pounds, by the way, so 250-pound bombs I don't think will work because it's 2.2, so you got to have maybe 150 or 200-pound bombs, and what you're looking to do is play mid-tiers, find AAs or tank destroyers which are open-topped, stuff like the M10, stuff like the Ostwind, stuff like the Wirbelwind, the BTR, you know, things like this, which are all open-topped, and bomb them with these bombs. you'll be able to nuke them, overpressure them as long as you land them near, and you'll do very good with it. Another set of vehicles to do this with is even some of the Zeros, like the A6M3. They get 60 kilo bombs as well, so you can kind of do it with those too. Even I think the A7M2 gets 60 kilo bombs as well. But yeah, because of how the overpressure mechanics work, even if you have some very small bombs, you can just land them near open top vehicles and it will nuke them. So that's what you should focus on. You should go after the SBAs of the enemy with your 60 kilo to 100 kilo bombs instead of going after heavier targets which don't overpressure as easily. So the first seasonal challenge, which is unlocked at level 21 of the Battle Pass, is Unstoppable Offensive. So you have to win a specified number of battles while being in the top 3 of your team. 30 missions is what you have to get. So level 21 in the Battle Pass you should unlock pretty early, so you should have at least like 2 months to be able to get this challenge done. And if you do all of the other Battle Pass missions, you should just kind of get it done as you go, just because, you know, you'll be focusing on dailies and specials, and this should kind of accommodate that. So I wouldn't really worry too much about this challenge. You should just kind of get it done anyway. So that, you know, just kind of is how it is. The next challenge is Blitzkrieg, and you unlock this at level 40 of the Battle Pass, and it's destroy a specified number of player vehicles while driving a tank at a speed of at least 30 kilometers an hour, and you need to destroy 30 vehicles with this. So I actually found quite a lot of success when they did this challenge before in a interesting set of vehicles. I did it in arcade and I did it in some mid-tier light vehicles. I just ran around like a crazy man and just started shooting people, and sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't. 30 is quite a lot, and since this is at level 40, what I would say is I would see where I've got to until like maybe the last few weeks of the Battle Pass, and then after that, if I still have some left to get, because you'll get some of these naturally anyway, I'll focus on it by doing arcade, and then once again playing those fast vehicles and just wandering around and shooting people as I go. Obviously, this Battle Pass is focused more around light tanks. Light tanks are some of the most powerful vehicles in the game, and a lot of them at high tiers, especially stuff like the Puma and the Baglette, will be easy to do stuff like this in. You just bang, 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 everything will die, easy peasy, go next, you know. The next one is Military Parade. Now, this one, you get access to it at level 60 of the Battle Pass, and it's destroy a specified number of player vehicles while driving vehicles from ranks 1 to 7. So you need to get 10 vehicles at each rank destroyed. So at rank 1, you need to destroy 10 vehicles. Rank 2, 10 vehicles, so on and so forth until rank 7. So this is one you have to make sure that you have a tech tree researched up to rank 7. So this is one you need to plan ahead for again, just like that coastal one we talked about, that is around the place. So what is the easiest nation to get to rank 7 in? Aviation is the easiest to grind through, and it's either going to be Sweden. When it comes to their planes, it's probably going to be Sweden. The problem is the ranked 7s aren't very powerful, so it's going to be kind of annoying to do, but at least there's there. Japan won't be too hard either to get to rank 7, and maybe France, but once again, France doesn't have the greatest ranked 7s. So yeah, it's just something you have to make sure that you're buttoned in on. If you're a person who doesn't have a rank 7 vehicle in the game right now, it's best right now to focus on trying to get that rank 7 vehicle, so when you unlock this challenge, you'll be able to actually do it. Most people probably have like rank 4s, rank 5s. In 2 or 3 months, you can push yourself to get to rank 7s, even in a free-to-play stance. And with the research changes coming in, hopefully that helps people, but we'll have to see going forward. This is an annoying challenge, but it's basically all down to you. You just got to make sure that you have that rank 7 by the time you unlock level 60. You'll be able to get this done. As I said, easiest way to do it, Aviation Sweden is definitely the easiest. The last challenge is Bundeswehr Cross of Honor, and it's just complete all of the season challenges, and you'll get some bonus points for that. Overall, just like all the other battle passes, this battle pass is got some stinkers in it, the main ones being that coastal one and also the help with repairs, but they can be done, and I'll be streaming them on Twitch, getting them all done, hopefully alongside all of you guys. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Cupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.